because Rakim was doing what he was doing back in the 80s.
That's two different eras though.
Yeah, in the 80s. And wasn't nobody doing what Rakim was doing. Then when Nas came along, yeah, it's a different era.
Look at it like this. Look at Michael Vick. Look what he doing with Lamar Jackson. It's two different. They doing the same thing, but Lamar took it to the next level.
I don't look at it like that. We'll continue that. I see what you're saying though.
Yeah.
I respect that opinion.
Yeah, Lupe.
We good? We on? All right. Yo. Welcome to Black Legacies Emergency Podcast. We just stepping out. We're going live here. First time ever going live. I got my peoples with me. I got Sean Fair. I got Yale over here. You know, we
Obama as well.
Oh, there we go. Obama, yeah. Speak that, brother. Speak that, because I don't speak it right. I'm gonna get that name right, and each and every time on your introduction, I had that right for you. But definitely, we're reaching out today to address the issue. I talked to Danielle yesterday. We spoke, and he told me that he was having, I guess, a conflict of interest going on with me reaching out to him. And I guess let me give you a backstory. The purpose of this live podcast today, is basically with the Clemson Cemetery, with the University of Clemson. Black Legacy has has made an agreement to be part of the cemetery project up at Clemson University. Now, there's a lot of history with this situation, because the history of the situation, that cemetery is actually over 200 years old. So with the age of that cemetery and the manner of the keeping of that cemetery for the black side of that cemetery has not been respected or maintained or done at all. And partially we'll get into that right now. We're going to try to get into that right now. But before we actually dive into that, I'll give you some backgrounds about the organization and how I came a part of it. I came a part of the project up at Clemson by, of course, I started my projects with Black Legacy out at Soapstone Cemetery. And once I started at Soapstone Cemetery, just remembering some knowledge that I had from back when, that it was a slave cemetery on Clemson campus. So I went in search of that. We're going in search of that with me founding, like I had found out where it was. I reached out to Clemson. Clemson notified me and let me know that they were actually going to be doing a project. I had actually started a project on doing something to the cemetery. As months went on, conversations that went on, and I would say at minimum right now we're at probably 8-9 month mark maybe, and it may be a little overstatement on the months, but if I am overstating on the months, not far. With being involved with them, of course, Black Legacy first, and then Clemson has addressed me to reach out to community leaders, people in Anderson community who are just involved in the community, to come and, I guess, give their opinions, give their feedback on what should be done at the cemetery at Clemson. And these are two of the people who I've reached out to in the community, amongst many others. And if I've reached out to you in the past 6 weeks and probably haven't reached out to you in years, that was probably the purpose of it. And if I didn't talk to you, then you don't know the purpose. And if I was reaching out to you, that's probably the purpose of me reaching out to you. If you're someone that I respected and wanted to bring you into this group, with these two that I brought into the group, we had a what do you want to call it, I wouldn't say a viewing, but almost a touring of the cemetery at Clemson a few months back. And during that tour, I invited the both of these gentlemen up, and he was able to make it and he was not. And he took tours and got an experience of where most of the graves burial sites were at Clemson. Now, upon all of that, reaching out to the community with them, they have not had any meetings with the university. They haven't had any meetings with the university yet. It's only been, I guess, the first tier of what they reached out to, and that is Black Legacy. They are actually scheduled to have a meeting with Clemson and the professors later this month. I don't think we even came up with a definite date yet. But whenever I came to them, I had a meeting with Clemson this past Wednesday. Whenever I came to them, they were both very anxious to know what was said in this last meeting, and I'm thinking that the information that I brought to them wasn't sufficient enough, because Friday after I delivered the information, he called me Saturday, letting me know that he was feeling, I guess, a little uneasy, a little irritated about everything, and he wanted to initiate a petition.
Rightfully so.
And he wanted to initiate that petition to, and I think the grounds of the petition are for Clemson to have something done immediate to that cemetery, and also to remove the pavement that are over the burial sites of our ancestors. I agree with that. I agree with all of it. I don't disagree with the petition, but I do have some reservations, because there have been things that have been said by the university that have been done. Now, going back as a history lesson, if you want to look up your history lesson on Clemson University was Fort Hill Cemetery, by the Calhoun family, John C. Calhoun, given to his daughter, and she married a guy by the last name of Clemson. He bequeathed the land of Clemson University. The university named the university after him, and that's how it became Clemson University, but it's all plantation land. And on the plantation land, there were slaves, convict laborers, and possibly even a few other races at this cemetery. Possibly even some Native Americans are buried at this cemetery. In the 1920s is when they changed the name of the cemetery, to Woodland Cemetery. And once it was changed to Woodland Cemetery, that's when the president, I think, of the university at that point in time went ahead and made it available for faculty and staff to be buried at Clemson University. And if they were buried there, they were buried in the new Woodland Cemetery. So with it being renamed, it was Cemetery Hill in the 1920s. It was renamed to Woodland Cemetery. So after it became Woodland Cemetery, then faculty and staff started to get buried there. Once faculty and staff started to get buried there, they were buried around, over, on top of, behind, and just all around the old burial sites of the slaves and convict laborers. So the lack of respect has been there since definite 1920. In the 1940s, there was a 1940s there was a separation. They were trying to find out where a lot of the graves were, but I think that they were trying to find out where those graves were to make sure that they were separated. In the 1940s, they put something in the paper. If anyone in your family was, that you suspected anyone in your family to be buried in that cemetery, that they put something in the paper, in Anderson actually, and if you had an objection to them being moved, that you needed to be at the courthouse within a week's time. So no one came in that week's time. So there were a lot of graves at that point in time in the 1940s that were actually dug up and moved. Now,
you said a week's time?
Yeah, they gave a week's time.
I'm sure that's sufficient.
Exactly.
Yeah.
If I can interject, they wanted to make the moves in 1940 not to identify the graves, but to keep the whites and blacks still separated.
Segregated. Basically.
Okay, and that is possible. That is possible, and depending on where you look and how you look at the information that was given, I think all of that is accurate. I think if you look at it from the Clemson perspective, it is just to identify. But if you look at it from the standpoint of what they were doing and how they did it and how they separated everything, I think that
the time period.
The time period.
You cannot even.
Definitely. And
talking about the 40s now.
Yeah. And granted that in the state of South Carolina and most southern states that it was actually illegal to bury whites and blacks in the same cemetery. So with that being stated at that, I think that, yeah, you definitely are right. That's all accuracy with that. Then going on into the 1960s. In the 1960s, we had a lot of, I think in the 1960s, they tried to, maybe it was in the 1960s it was moved. It was 1940s or 1960s that they actually moved the graves. I can't be sure, but I know one of them coincided with the desegregation of the university, if I'm not sure. So that may have been 1960s.
So they were trying to move the graves in 1960s at the same time they were trying to prevent Harvey Gantt from entering the university.
Valid point.
So there's two major movements going on here.
Okay.
At the same time.
Harvey Gantt, yes. Harvey Gantt is a major figure at Clemson University. Harvey Gantt went on to become the mayor of Charlotte, to involved majorly in the landscape of politics of North Carolina, and even back here with the influence that he had at Clemson University. So yeah, whenever they were trying to keep him out.
So you're looking at over 60 years where there's been a lot of unfulfilled promises, or things are saying we're going to do X, Y, and Z and not coming to fruition, basically. So historically, people use markers to identify their loved ones has been buried, whether of slave descent or not. So it looks like Clemson is using Black Legacy and other organizations as a plateau to say, okay, we're gonna keep it up under the rug and keep it quiet just by saying, yeah, we're gonna do this, we're bringing awareness and attention, but there's no true effort in establishing these markers for these people.
False promises of gold.
Yeah, I went with the tour with you, and we talked to a professor, and she reinforced our ideas of saying that the graves need to be marked and identified. And the radiate ground, was it called? It was using to identify
GPR.
She was saying there was a massive more graves that were not identified. So in reference to that, you say the Woodland Cemetery is over 200 years old.
And partner, I mean, not to cut you off, but do we have a number or figure about how many unmarked graves did they say about how many it was?
I want to say. I think we had 614.
Hundreds, right?
Yeah, 600. Yeah, over 600.
Been the hundreds of unmarked loved ones and family members of those that, you can say, just didn't have a proper burial. Like as Mr. Yale was saying earlier, how vital, how important it is to have a marker of some type of way to give notarization to the loved ones doing burial, and to have those many graves without being marked. I mean, that's just, in my opinion, profound amount of disrespect.
Well, and that's the thing. Now, initially coming into this, what the hell are y'all saying?
Speak up.
You can't hear me? Okay, all right.
Can you hear me?
Now y'all moving around back there. Y'all moving around. Yo, yeah. Okay, all right, Facebook, speak up for you. Okay, all right, we got you. So, yeah, you got a lot to edit on that. It's our first time going live. Mr. Fat, you had just made the point of...
Yeah, I was just making the point, to have so many unmarked graves, and we know how, since the beginning of time, how vital and profound it is to be able to mark your loved ones, to give the proper respect and reverence to them, and to have so many in the grave unmarked, and just to be forgotten about, and to not only be forgotten about, but to bring this to the forefront of a place such as Clemson University, with all the prestige and the history behind it and the history that it's making now, and to just, I'm not going to necessarily say, I'm not going to say what their intentions are, but from what I'm seeing and what I'm hearing so far, it's false promises.
It's almost laughable. It's almost laughable because if Clemson beats Ohio State or Alabama or Florida State in its prime, they'll celebrate a grave. But we're not asking for their kids to go to school for free tuition. We're not asking for reparations. We're asking for their ancestors or people, or relatives, to be marked. that's where it's a miscarriage of justice for those people. And if Clemson wants to seem as moral as an institution as they proclaim themselves to be with the previously Black Lives Matter movement and things of that nature, they need to get a stone available for these graves. Start out with one stone. You know, we're not asking for anything out of the way.
Exactly. I mean,
Well,
coming basically, not mean to cut you off.
You good.
Just it's a respect factor. I mean, you know, like you were saying, you know, we look at the programs they have, especially the football program, and the billions of dollars that this program brings to the institution, and just keeping it real, you know, look at, you know, the Black lives that are playing football
Good
for
point.
this
Good
institution,
point.
that's helping bringing
Great
these
point.
billions of dollars to the institution. And some of their forefathers, or you know, not necessarily by blood, but you know, just as far as those blacks that are in the grave, that's not getting recognition, and so that their loved ones can reverence them. I mean, you know, it's like a dichotomy. You know, that's all. You know, so you know, we're not, like we say, like Danielle said, not looking for a handout and nothing like that. We're just looking for right, just what's right. You know, if you know you're a prestigious college. I'm sure that you should stand on morals, principles, and values, and
Ethics.
and give a reference exactly to those that have moved on and paved the way with their blood, sweat, and tears. You know, it's only right for them to have some type of marker, some type of righteous burial.
Now,
for them to
pardon
pave
me.
the way.
I'm gonna elaborate and build off of what you just really said, because what you were speaking on was winning a big game and this, that, and the other, and having a grave. But just to elaborate a little more, what he's speaking of is whenever I mean, everyone who's a Clemson fan knows that we have a graveyard. We have a graveyard of every time we put down a big, you know, top 5, top 10 opponent or whatever, we get a rock. We get a cemetery, a gravestone, because we put them in the dirt. That's what we're saying. As Clemson fans, we put them in the dirt, and we have a graveyard of those major games that we have won.
I wasn't even aware of that.
Yeah.
And so, but to put those two together to say, you know, hey, okay, all right, you have a slave cemetery full of slaves that don't have any markers down, and you have put in. I feel 100% where you're coming from. That is the exact same perspective that I have had with any graveyard. I mean, any graveyard, especially this one, because if you're going to put that down for a game, and we're talking about a game here, yes,
Well, yeah, why
something
not?
should be put down for us.
That's the narrative.
Exactly.
And being here and being here on live or whatever, definitely, yes, everything is cool and calm, collective. I'm amongst friends or whatever, and as grown men, when we do have difference of opinion, it's easy for us to talk it out. But definitely, whenever I want to reassure you all that whenever I am at the table with Clemson, I'm at the table with passion. I'm at the table with motivation. I'm at the table with demanding respect for our ancestors.
Well, let me ask you this. What do you think the disconnect is at? Because when I came on the tour, you had Clemson faculty, professors, former professors, and people, you know, showing the tour, but nobody was as passionate as like, hey, this is the game plan. This is what we're going to do to get it to critical mass and sustainability. It was, this is such and such. And then you got the former president, John C. Calhoun grave, elaborately marked off. But then you got these like Fal was, I can't say his other name because I'm not, my speech impediments, but you got these other graves that even up under the new, what is it called, the West, where they built the new stadium we asked about. We was asking was any more graves. It was marked by flyers.
Okay. You talking about,
yeah.
The flags.
What is the disconnect with from the passion standpoint? Is it looking like it's just another outcry for a handout or for help, or from, because you in there with those people? So what are they saying to make you say I should continue to go forward with this, and it's not just empty rhetoric about what we think we should be doing?
I think that's a valid question. What I think is, how I feel is, one thing that they are saying, one thing that Clemson is saying is, well, they're saying a lot of different stuff. I mean, I can't say that they've been on one accord. And initially, whenever I've brought information to you all, and I've told you all, hey, they want to do something immediately.
Exactly.
That was the first thing that I told you. They wanted to do something immediately. Once they said that they wanted to do something immediately, a month later, we're talking about having something done by Black History Month, and then now we're 3, 4,
Approaching
5
Black
months
History Month
later,
About
and
Black History Year.
exactly, and and nothing has been done.
Yeah.
So I won't say. The thing is that I won't say. One thing that we definitely have to understand is we're dealing with an institution, and we're dealing with an institution. I mean, really, after they see this live, they may not want to deal with me anymore, and I'm okay with that. I'm fine with that, because dealing with the institution, I can't force them to do anything. You can't force them to do anything. I think a petition may be good, but I don't know if you're going to get results from a petition. I mean, I'm willing to sign your petition. I'm willing to be a part of your petition, because I do believe that something needs to be done today, and the respect needs to be given, but I don't know what it's going to cost. We dealing with, as you just said, $1 billion. They making millions and billions of dollars institution or whatever. So who are we down here in Anderson, South Carolina, to really say that, hey, this is what we want for our ancestors? And especially whenever we don't have you, the people, behind us. We don't have the community behind us. We don't have numbers behind us. So pretty much whenever I go to these meetings, I'm being an ear. There's only so much that I can say. We need numbers. We need y'all. We need the help.
Yeah, that's true what you're saying, and I understand that in totality. And like I said, we're amongst friends, and we have an open discussion. It's not critical of you. It's critical of the institution, because in the word institution, you have institute. So they need to be able to institute a plan, something that's on paper that says, hey, this is what we're gonna do. Like I said, it's not a question of how or when. It's a question why they haven't. That's just morally and ethical problem, the part of it. You understand?
Definitely.
So if you look at it, stand by it. So if you're gonna say, and if I'm not mistaken, you said that grave site is 200 years old?
Possibly old.
Okay, the United States is almost 225 years old. So you're looking at almost 60 years that's been passed to where we had this brought up as recently as 1960, and then as recently as Black Legislature got involved, and last year you brought it to the table. I'm not for sure we lost sound there earlier, but in 1960 you had Harvey Gantt trying to be admitted into Clemson as one of the first Black college collegiate students, and at the same time Clemson is making a move to separate whites and blacks in gravesite, not because they want to go out and say, hey, look here, we want to know who was identified as these slaves, is because they want to keep separation and segregation, as Fab pointed out, in death. Now you come upon them making a dominant program in the last decade, and we still are right where we are 6-7 months ago. So it's empty promises. It's saying, putting a Band-Aid on it, but you get so many cut marks and the bleeding progresses, you got to be taken somewhere else and really get some surgery.
It makes sense. It makes sense. I can relate to where y'all coming from, but one thing that I definitely wanted to do as part of this, and this is what I wanted to reach out and do, because, again, I think a petition is a good start to get something done or whatever, and me being a part of the university's outreach, I'll say outreach program, I thought that was a good. I don't know what's gonna get something done there, but
petition a good start.
And I think it is. I think a petition is a good start, but that still doesn't demand results.
What can the people? Pardon me, and I hate to keep interjecting, but what can the people do to get our strength in numbers, as you guys said, far as maybe Clemson need to see us doing something, so like donations or just to get one headstone. That's
perfect. That's perfect to bring it up. And I don't know if I don't spoke to you about that, but I know I spoke with Fair about that. But that'll be the purpose, to make everyone aware of this Clemson project, of Yale's petition. We're gonna post about that. We'll post about that if you want to get on with the petition, this, that, and the other. But let's control, as a community, let's actually control what we can control.
Exactly.
And what we can control is not Clemson University.
Exactly.
What we can control is Soapstone Cemetery. There's a slave cemetery here in Anderson that I'm desperate to get inside and move on.
Where's that located?
On Sale Street.
There you go.
Okay, right, Sales Street.
So I'm desperate to jump off in there. But we've already started over in Pickens County. Why did I start in Pickens County? I started in Pickens County because Soapstone Cemetery, and it's called Liberia, South Carolina. With Liberia, South Carolina, that is
deep within itself.
One
Liberia.
of 7 towns like that in the entire country. One of 7. It's been since the Emancipation Proclamation that has been a black town, and that's right here in South Carolina.
That needs to be more known, widely known.
So we can make it known.
Yeah.
We can make it known by there, one stone at a time. One stone at a time. Black Legacy has been in existence for over a year. We've struggled on donations. Most, just to be honest, we have some major donors out. Shout out to y'all. We do have some, but a lot of the efforts and financial efforts have been coming from me. Let's come together. Let's do one stone at a time. One stone, and we're going through we're getting a wholesale price on this because of my connection with the Unity Mortuary. Shout out to Harry and Manfred Thompson, D, you too. Shout out to y'all on that. But we're getting a wholesale price on there, so we got probably about $480 a stone, a design stone that we can put. And there's 76 graves out here at Soapstone Cemetery. We can have the stones bought, the landscape done. We can do this all piece by piece, and that's something that we can change as a people. If we don't start to respect our ancestors, if we don't lay down that respect for our ancestors, how are we going to demand all this respect for us today?
Exactly.
You can't. It
They
says,
paved the way.
Yeah, because it's like say God help those who help themselves. So if you're gonna help yourself, you need to start contributing. You can't get nothing for free. You're gonna get handouts for so long, and if you're not gonna take the initiative to motivate yourself to do something for self, then you're always gonna limit yourself and be dependent upon others to control what you move and how you move.
Yeah. See, we got to put in the groundwork. I'm sure some of you are thinking, well, this is a great cause, true cause, but I want y'all to really, really think about this, because we all can relate to this. All of us have missing loved ones. Death is just something that's a part of life. All of us going to go through it. So, for those that still go to those burial sites, to those grave sites, on holidays, on birthdays, on special days, or just sometimes when you're thinking about them, when you feel them around you, it's nothing like being able to go to that site and visit your loved one and speak to them, or just contemplate good times and think about them and give them flowers at their grave site and just give them reverence. Reverence is very big. Reverence has been reverence to your ancestors has been one of the biggest things that we do as the people since the beginning of time.
That's right.
And so to not be able to go to a loved one's grave site for not knowing where their marker is at, to not be able to go and show that love and common respect, and just to show that how much you miss them, just to be able to be there and let you know, it's a saying that people always say, the jail cell and the graveyard so much alike.
Exactly alike.
It's a saying that draw the time when you make it to those two destinations, people forget about you.
That's
so
true.
For those that don't forget about our loved ones, to not be able to go to that grave site where they're marked, to show the honor, respect, and love for them, and give that to them, it's not right. It's not fair. That's all I'm saying. So it's only right, y'all. Let's come together, and just if at least bring recognition to this situation. Like the brother was saying, this is an institution. All institutions are built on certain foundations. Foundation is vital, it's important. And to not give those that pave the way, and even though some of the people that's with this part of this institution don't feel like these people may be important, but evidently they can't, to not be able to follow through on their promises or whatever they said they might do.
Very valid.
That's super valid.
This is important because, like I was saying, everything stands on foundation, right? But to put foundation on top of those that deserve better or a marker, then what is your foundation actually standing on?
Nothing.
Standing on nothing. So, like the brother was saying, at least we can do now bring recognition, see if they follow through, If not, we can go to Soapstone. Like the brother was saying, it's a library in South Carolina, Pickens County. I've been there, you know, and this place, this cemetery, it can be embellished because, you know, I think it's only right to show these loved ones, to show these ones that passed before us, that put in the blood, sweat, and tears, that have died for us, that, you know, that paved the way for us, to give them reverence and respect and love. And like the brother, you know, we have another right here in Sirius. I wasn't even aware of that. You know, I have a loved one right across the street at that cemetery. What's the name of that cemetery? Right across the street on Sirius, the main
On
cemetery.
sale. Oh, okay. I don't know. I know what you're talking about, though.
Is that West?
Westview?
Kroger Bakery?
Yeah.
Westview.
Westview.
And all this time,
West
I
View.
never knew that this cemetery was right behind Kroger Bakery. You never knew it was there. There's no signs or anything. So like the brother was saying, let's get together and let's, you know, it don't take much. It don't take much. You know, it take, if for those that are not able to help financially, you can help with research. You know,
That's
you
it.
can help.
Signing the petition.
Sign a petition. You know, whatever. You might have other family members, other people that you know that you network with that have a little bit of power. They can bring forth something. You know, whatever. But let's do something. You know, let's do a little something because they deserve it. It's only right. And now, like I said, I salute you, brother, for this black.
Oh yeah, I definitely. And as a disclaimer, I know you that you go to Clemson University and you sitting with these people. These are solely our views and our and the way we think now.
Definitely.
You coming to us as bringing this information to us,
Exactly.
but this is solely how I think and how he thinks as far as what needs to be done. So I'll use that as a disclaimer. This is he invited us to come on and talk about it and the unrest. Like I said, I talked to him numerous times this week or last week rather concerning this, and I couldn't understand how Clemson as an institution, as the brother pointed out, receiving all what is it? Probably I don't know millions of dollars, billions of dollars. I'm assuming, and you cannot even take it upon yourself to help the movement of getting these headstones. Like I said, they're not asking for free tuition, $70,000 a year tuition. We're asking for identification that's been done since the echelon of time. Historically, yeah, that's what they say. Bury your dead and leave them marked, or the soul is not at rest. They cannot be marked.
So there are plenty of souls that aren't at rest over
Yeah, they
there.
are easy.
And the crazy thing is that at one point in time, with me knowing the history of our people in this area, we have always marked our people.
That's right.
There are no markers there at Clemson University. There are no markers there in Clemson University because over time, they were removed. There are markers there at Soapstone Cemetery. We want to upgrade those markers. We want to make Soapstone Cemetery. We want to make Liberia, South Carolina. What we want to turn that to is in almost a mecca in the upstate of South Carolina, where you can go, where you can worship, where you can feel the presence of your people, the presence of your ancestors. We want to create places like this all over this nation.
It's only right.
It's only right. We help build this nation. This is just the way that I feel. This is my opinion. This is Black Legacy's opinion. This is my purpose. So this is what I will be doing. This is what I'll be working on with or without you. What we're gonna do, you'll be hearing in the next couple of weeks, couple of days. We're gonna start this campaign, and we're gonna call this campaign One Stone at a Time. And I think it's fitting. I think one stone at a time is fitting, and we're gonna do like the United Way. We're gonna give you a gauge each and every time that we get a stone paid for. Each and every time we get a stone paid for, we're gonna let you know. When we get 500, we're gonna let you know. Whatever it is, everything that we need to get done, we're gonna let you know. We're gonna make this very, very transparent. This ain't a money hungry situation. I'm doing all right. With my 9 to 5, I'm straight. I'm eating. I'm good. But y'all, we need the help. We need y'all to come together. We need to look out. We need strength in numbers. We need power. We need to change the landscape of this community of Anderson. If we come together in Anderson, hey, yo, look, y'all see what's going on at the Capitol, right?
Oh yeah, that's evident. That's a microcosm. What happens internally? Now Fat told me this years ago. What happens internally is a microcosm of a bigger picture. So what happened at the Capitol building has been happening in places, small segments throughout the nation. But when it erupted at the Capitol building, it's just a microcosm of what really is going on. Like when you go to the beach, you see parts of the ocean, but it's just a microcosm.
It's a micro to macro.
Yeah, macro and the macro, the 139 million square miles of land that's in the ocean. So I salute you too. I appreciate the opportunity to come on and do something positive, not only for myself, but for my kids to look at, for other kids that think there's no avenue outside of the hood or ghettos or places like this that have a purpose or a cause. 'Cause that's really what we want. That's why we join organizations, we join lodges, we join mosques, we join things of that nature that have a purpose. Like you said, this is your purpose, and I support you 100%.
I appreciate it.
And man, this brother here, man, Hindu, man, he's giving us a platform.
That's it.
So anybody that has any type of organization, even if you don't have an organization,
Good point too.
if you have something that you would like to come in and build with this brother, he has a platform for us.
That's it.
Bring it to the forefront. Let your voice be heard. You know, got to start somewhere. Like he said, you know, we're gonna start with these black cemeteries, one stone at a time. If you got something else that you don't want to bring forth, 'cause like the brother was saying, you know, it's about making change. It's about making a difference. One step at a time, one voice at a time, one thought at a time. Come forth.
That's it.
He giving you a platform to bring forth whatever you feel like, you know, that needs to be heard, what's not right, you know. And so yeah, there you go. So bring forth. You know, he's giving it to you. I'm sure all you know this guy. He's the well-known guy in the community. You know, he's not hard to get in contact with. You know, so bring support. You know, not only, like I say, not only bring your support, but if you have something you want to say or bring consciousness or enlightenment to a situation, here's your platform.
That's it.
Here's your platform.
Come on out. Reach out to me. I'm here. Look at here. Right now, we're going to kick this off now. We're kicking one stone off at a time now. We're kicking this out right now today. Whenever I get off the phone, we're going to have this, I'm making my own donation fair. I already got these guys committed to a donation. They're going straight to the website. I'm not asking for $200 or $300. What we asking for is to get one stone at a time. We looking at $5, $10 donations. Whatever you can donate. We're going to keep this thing transparent, and we're going to get a cemetery at a time done. Anderson is Black Legacy, as Black Legacy is to Anderson, as Black Panther is to Anderson. Hey, it's all one. We got to bring this community together. We got to bring it together, brother.
How many Facebook, Instagram friends would you say you estimate you have?
I'll say about 1,500.
1,500.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna say 2,000, just to make it math on easy on people. So if all the 2,000 followers donate a dollar, that's $2,000.
The $2,000, we got 4 stones knocked out.
Now if you can't get that, you need to, all three of us collectively, need to go in and delete people that's just randomly circling on our page, spreading negativity. But I'm saying this a dollar. I probably got 2,000 friends, and I'm probably really sociably know or deal with 100.
I got about 1,500-1,600.
His circle's so small that you can't even get inside of it. You dig what I'm saying? So, yeah, I mean, like 2,000. If you, what's the purpose of having Instagram and Facebook if you can't even get 2,000 people to support you a dollar? Now, I feel like if we were standing here offering, come out, we're gonna give y'all. I don't know.
Free 99, but that's gonna happen. Free 99 gonna happen.
Free drinks.
Yeah.
Free drinks. So like that, it'd be massive.
We got some things coming in the community that we're stepping out to do, so we're gonna definitely need y'all support on that. We'll be feeding the homeless sometime early this month. We need all organizations, all hands on deck with that. That's not the only thing that we're doing. We got Chain Breakers that's actually doing. Of course, they did the toy giveaway or whatever. All of the organizations that I deal with, JW House of Hope, Chain Breakers,
Knowledge of Self, still in its infancy.
We will definitely be doing this food giveaway, feeding the homeless or whatever, and we want to take this to another level. We want to have something going on each month with an organization, not just Black Legacy, but another organization that we're supporting as a community. Whatever this organization needs, as one, that's what we're trying to do. We're not going to keep y'all very long here. We got some football to watch and some drinking to do. So
discuss who's the greatest rapper.
Definitely. and we're going to have to get on that. Discuss who's the greatest rapper. I mean, everybody knows this is Rakim.
Everybody knows it's Nasir. Nas. I'm biased, so.
But look, we're going to reach back out. This was actually an emergency show. He wanted to get this word out, so we got this word out for everybody. Next week, stay tuned with Black Legacy. Definitely Kathy Shed's mother video podcast will be dropping. So if you want to know what she had to say in response to everything, yes, and we'll also have a link to the petition coming out very soon with the sometime today. I'll have a link to your petition on my Facebook, my Black Legacy Facebook, and all of that. So if you want to support the petition, and I encourage you to want to support the petition because we need action.
I forgot about something, and the moniker for we was building on last time on your podcast about bringing together the different organizations under one banner.
The umbrella.
Anna will be happening soon. Anna is in the making.
So if any other organizations, bring forth, be a part of Anna.
Anna is Anderson Nonprofit Anderson Nonprofit Association.
So bring all the nonprofits together. Bring it together, strengthens the number, like we were saying. That can make a big difference. Like I said, let's put our difference to the side. Like it's so many different things that is used against us, that we use against ourselves a lot of times to separate us. Let's get together on one accord and make some change. That's what it's about.
For the kids, for the future,
for the youth all the time.
Definitely,
Most
definitely for the youth, because
if they see us, whatever they see us do, they're gonna do times 10.
Yeah, that's right.
So they got to see us do this. They got to see us doing this. They got to see us putting together. They got to see us working together. They got to see us south side, east side, west side, north side putting it down.
Forest, Pinedale, Country, Iowa,
Broadway Lake,
up under the bridge.
Throw it
I don't
out.
care where you at.
Throw it up.
Yeah.
All right. So reach out to us. Get in contact. Get that donation one stone at a time. Get the petition in, and we will link with y'all soon. Also, check out the visual for the YouTube Johnny Burton video. YouTube Black Legacy INC 2019. We'll reach out to y'all soon. Peace. One love. Black Legacy, baby.